Jayden Daniels is the first QB off the board after Caleb Williams, but J.J. McCarthy gets the dream landing spot of the Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be a tough choice between these two. Let's get into it. Now, I've loved Jayden Daniels since his true freshman season at Arizona State, and most can't say that, but I honestly can. I've also been a huge fan above consensus on J.J. McCarthy going back to his 2023 summer scouting report. This is going to be a tough decision, but it's one we need to make. Let's start here by breaking down this J.J. McCarthy landing spot. Is it as good as it seems? The simple answer is absolutely yes. With J.J. McCarthy, we have him landing with an absolute dream receiver team. Folks, it just doesn't happen. Your rookie quarterback doesn't just get paired up with Justin Jefferson, a top 3 wide receiver in the league, and also Jordan Addison, who went for over 1,000 receiving yards as a rookie last season. So he's got 2 really nice weapons on the outside. And when he's back and healthy, he's going to have TJ Hawkinson, a top 5 tight end in the league, working underneath for him as well. He's also got a really balanced running back room, including Aaron Jones, which I know doesn't sound like the fanciest running back to have, but Aaron Jones is a reliable check down option. And rookie quarterbacks love to have a reliable check down option out of the backfield. Minnesota has made a point to support their incoming quarterback before they even decided that it was J.J. McCarthy, giving them those weapons in a top-tier offensive line. Now, I'm not going to make the argument that Minnesota is a top 5 or even top 10 offensive line, but I would say they're a top half of the league. Last year, PFF ranked them as the 12th best offensive line. That feels right to me, and we could even see more reinforcement to protect J.J. McCarthy as the offseason goes on. Let's talk about this coaching fit here. I like the Kevin O'Connell fit. O'Connell is known for coaching up quarterbacks, and he is somebody who I want working with my 20-year-old quarterback. Don't forget that J.J. McCarthy is one of the youngest players in total in the draft, and he is the youngest quarterback prospect in the draft. So you have a young, moldable quarterback with a trusted, creative offensive play caller. And when I say that Kevin O'Connell is a creative play caller, it's not in the gadgety, schemy way, but he's going to be able to create opportunity for J.J. McCarthy just to have that extra second and a half. Combine that here with the extra time in separation that Jordan Addison can give him, that Justin Jefferson can give him. Folks, that extra second and a half for a young rookie quarterback can be just it can feel like 10 minutes. It's absolutely huge. So you have the coach, you have the offensive line, and you have the receivers. There's just one hurdle in front of J.J. McCarthy, and that's Sam Darnold. Now, Minnesota gave Sam Darnold some decent money, but it's nothing that's going to stop them from putting J.J. McCarthy on the field right away. J.J. McCarthy, for me, is not raw. I think he's got great arm talent. He's an excellent decision maker. He's got fantastic mobility. So I think he'll be ready to play week 1. When it comes to J.J. McCarthy, this landing spot checks all of the boxes. You can't help but get really excited about it. And he went into draft night as my QB4, but he's got a really strong argument for QB2. Before I declare him the QB2, though, let's get into Jayden Daniels because things are looking pretty good for the new Commanders quarterback as well. Folks, if you're having a hard time dissecting the fantasy value of this rookie class, you're getting a little nervous now that it's rookie draft season coming up, you have to head on over to patreon.com/rookiebigboard. You're going to see our in-depth, accurate, proven fantasy rankings here for the rookie class. You can compare those directly to our Dynasty and Devy rankings. I'm also inputting all draft weekend long updated seasonal projections for immediate 2024 impact for this rookie class. And of course, you'll have access to the updated rookie guide, which drops the Sunday after the NFL draft. Not to mention our personalized advice that comes through the Rookie Big Board Discord. Folks, nobody's got better resources out there for you. Head on over and check it out today. When it comes to Jayden Daniels and looking at this landing spot, what we're going to see is a decent duo of weapons. Now, is it Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison? No. But like I mentioned, you're just not going to get that for every rookie quarterback. But with Jayden Daniels, what you do have is Terry McLaurin, who might be the biggest winner of this whole cycle. Terry McLaurin has produced at a really high level with some really shoddy, inconsistent quarterback play for the Commanders over the last few years. I think Daniels is going to love F1's field stretching ability. It's not quite, the same as Brian Thomas, but I think he's going to be able to utilize McLaurin in a very similar way. You're going to pair that up with Jahan Dotson, who I know had a bit of a slump of a sophomore season, but he has showed some real downfield stretching ability as a rookie, and I'm a big fan of Jahan Dotson. I think Jayden Daniels is going to unlock him, especially when you put this in the context of the Cliff Kingsbury offense. It seems like Cliff is going to have the keys to this offense with the defensive-minded head coach coming in. I think Quinn is going to want to turn things over to Cliff, and in turn, Cliff is going to open things up here. So I think there's going to be a pretty high potential for passing volume, and having both McLaurin and Dotson there is a really nice start to that foundation. You're going to pair it up now with Austin Eckler, and I know you in your head you think scrambling quarterback, not necessarily always going to want to check down to their running back, but most scrambling quarterbacks don't have Austin Eckler, a proven, known pass-catching commodity to throw to. I think Eckler is going to be a really sleepy support system for Jayden Daniels here. Now, the big downside, I'm going to say, is with a lower tier offensive line. I think Washington has struggled. We used to think of them as a really consistent powerhouse up front, but they've really de-invested in the position over the last few years. And they're probably, I would say, bottom third of the league in offensive line. So Jayden Daniels, this will be the big adjustment. He had a really solid protection in front of him at LSU, and that extra time in the pocket really helped him work through his reads, especially when he was working downfield. Daniels, though, does have a lot more experience. He's a 5-year starter compared to J.J. McCarthy. So if we were going to give one of these two guys the less ideal offensive line, I am glad it is Jayden Daniels. Now, when you look at the seasonal projections for these two players, they're both coming out pretty good. J.J. McCarthy slots in my instant reaction as QB 12. 297.7 fantasy points in his rookie season. It's about 17.5 points per game. Jayden Daniels, I do have a little bit lower, but it's really tight in this part of the projections. The quarterbacks are really packed in. So despite the fact that I do have Justin Herbert and Jordan Love above Jayden Daniels and below J.J. McCarthy, you'll see the actual points per game is not that significant of a drop-off. It's 17.5 for JJ to 17.3 for Jayden Daniels. So I do expect both of these guys to come in, start from week 1, and have some immediate fantasy football impact. I think you can put either one of them in that QB1 or QB2 slot for our Superflex fans and, feel confident with them as an immediate contributor to your offense. We went into the draft knowing that's where we were going to have Jayden Daniels. I don't know that we had that same level of confidence with J.J. McCarthy, so it definitely does feel like a step up. All right, let's pull up the chart here. Let's compare these two guys. Now, when it comes to draft capital, this is a really important takeaway. If you get nothing else from this video, I hope you get this. For me, my draft capital range is pick 1 through pick 10, the same exact draft capital range. I'm not giving a higher draft capital for the guy who went 2 versus 10. Because for me, draft capital is an indication of potential volume, right? It's a suggestion of the amount of investment that an NFL franchise is putting into that prospect. The Vikings have put just as much of an investment using the 10th overall pick into J.J. McCarthy as the Washington Commanders did, putting the second overall pick in Jayden Daniels. Just because one franchise liked a quarterback more than a different franchise, that doesn't mean that they deserve more draft capital. So they're both going to get the same check mark for the draft capital category. Now, when it comes to film score, this might surprise folks because I have been very high on Jayden Daniels the whole way through. He got an 84.3 film score for me, which is really good. But I love JJ McCarthy film. I mentioned I was above consensus. You can go back and watch some earlier videos on the Rookie Big Board. You're going to see that I was in on JJ McCarthy. He's got the best mechanical foundations in the class. I think he's an excellent decision maker, and he's really mobile as well. Now, Jayden Daniels, he's got that pure athleticism. He's got the ability to adjust velocity very well, and he's really developed a great pocket presence with really solid mechanics. So that's your argument on film, but technically the check mark, it's going to go to JJ McCarthy. The landing spot, we talked about it, so I'm not going to get too into it, but the landing spot for McCarthy is great. It's excellent. I couldn't design one better if I tried. And with Jayden Daniels, I think it's solid. I think it's a good landing spot. It's what we've come to accept for a rookie quarterback. It's not perfect, but there's potential and there's some weapons. So I don't hate it for Jayden Daniels, but the check mark goes to JJ McCarthy. And this is the other big takeaway I want you to get away from this. We talk about Jayden Daniels as a real upside fantasy football prospect, and for good reason. He's got excellent legs and excellent mobility. And when we think of that, we think of upside. But JJ McCarthy also has great mobility. He's also got that upside that comes from the ability to scramble or execute designed runs. Where JJ McCarthy has more upside compared to Jayden Daniels is the fact that he's about 3 years younger than him. So he's got 3 more years to be developed up. So when you look at that, you might make the argument that JJ McCarthy has the most upside of any quarterback in this draft class. He's got the most room to grow with a really solid foundation as well. And what do we talk about all the time? Nature versus nurture. Well, the nurture is absolutely there for JJ McCarthy. So if you're asking me who's my quarterback to, who am I going to take as the first quarterback off the board after Caleb Williams? Who am I taking 103 in Superflex leagues? Folks, it's JJ McCarthy. If you want to see more of my in-depth rankings and updated seasonal projections, as well as getting the 2024 rookie guide, head on over to patreon.com/rookiebigboard. It's just $5 a month, folks, to get ahead of your league mates. Thanks for checking out the video.